Well, hey friends, welcome back. So I have been, as you know, extremely busy. We had the flower show, then I left for Costa Rica, and now I am getting back to my own garden to do some things that I have totally been behind the ball on. The good news is we've had some severely cold weather, so nothing is really leafing out. We're still hovering around 36, 38. Today I wanted to bring you along. I'm actually gonna prune. I have 4 rose bushes in my front yard, and I need to give them their annual prune. So I wanted to give you just a little bit of a framework. There's lots of people who do great tutorials on this, but why not throw it out to the masses? So I'm gonna pop you down and we're just gonna go through the process. All right, my friends, so whenever I start a rose project, I like to make it easy on myself. So when you're pruning a rose, kind of one of the first rules that they tell you is you're gonna reduce everything by a half to a third. I like to actually do this first because it just saves me the trouble. So I'm not like stripping all these rose leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by reducing my height. And when I make my cuts, I am going to do a couple of different things. First, I am going to try to cut all of them at about the same height, so it's a little bit uniform. I'm going for kind of an inverted triangle type shape. The other thing I'm gonna do is you're gonna have a bunch of this one is actually starting to push out new growth already. I missed the first part of the rose pruning season, but it's still totally fine to prune these. It's a window, it's not like a hard date. So the next thing I do is I want to prune them to an outward facing bud. So you're gonna have buds on both sides. So like you're gonna have one on the inside, you're gonna have one on the outside. Now, here's the deal. Mother Nature is gonna do whatever she wants to do, but we do like to encourage her to exhibit certain habits. So we're gonna prune above an outward facing bud. There's a lot of chitter chatter out there about 45 angle cut, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, 45 angle is just good practice, but the people who are out there putting like glue or any sort of sealer on top of their cuts, I just have not found any scientific evidence to support this. So let's kind of jump on in, and once I get everything kind of pruned down, I'm then gonna also go in and you're gonna see me remove anything dead, anything that's like super weak, and then also any branches that are going inward or crossing. Essentially what we wanna do is we wanna have this beautiful inverted triangle, so a nice vase shape. And then we also want lots of air circulation in the middle so we're not harboring funguses and that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna make a couple cuts and see where this takes us. Okay, so this is a pretty young rose. This is actually its 2nd year in my garden. And actually I'm gonna do one more cut right here. It doesn't need a lot of improvement. This actually has some pretty decent little structure. Kidding, I'm gonna make a couple more cuts. But essentially I've taken out a couple things on the inside. I've pruned everything about the same height. Could I come down lower as I step on a salvia? Yeah, totally. I could take that out. I could bring everything down lower, but I feel like this is a good height. I don't want to go super overboard, and I think we're at a good little spot here. So again, just to recap, you're reducing it by a third to a half. You are making your cuts above a growth point, and anything that's like weak, diseased, anything dead, and you know it's going to be dead because when you cut into it, actually I see one more little thing right there. When you cut into it, it's brown. If it was alive, it would be green. So there you go. And then last but not least, just have a good time. And always stand back. If you're new to rose pruning, make a couple cuts, stand back, check to make sure it's going in the direction you want, and then dive back in. You can oftentimes get lost with your head in the middle of a rose, but don't overthink it. This is a plant, and if you make a mistake, that's okay. At least you're out here trying. All right, friends. So this is a little bit more of a hot mess express. What you can see here, I've got like 8,000 branches crossing over each other. This one seems dead to me. It's not in a really great shape. This was more of a rescue rose. And so she's gonna take a couple more snips to get it open, and it may look a little bit ugly, but this is one of those things where a rose may take a little bit of time to regain its shape when it has gone this wayward. So one of the very first cuts I'm gonna make actually is getting rid of this bad ride, because it is literally cutting straight back through the middle of my shrub. Okay, so there we go. Next thing I'm gonna do is, this guy is totally dead. So that is like so sad. So he's off. Actually, he's a tiny bit alive, but just like not great form. This one over here, this little guy's dead. We've got this one down here that is also dead. Okay. All right, so now we're starting to see what we're working with here a little bit more. That guy's dead down there. And now we've still got a little bit of a mess on our hands. This guy is super tall, so I'm actually gonna bring him down in height. I could cut it to this bud here, that bud here. I think I'm actually gonna leave it a little bit on the low side. So we'll take that guy out. Okay, next, I'm also noticing we've got some dead, well, these leaves, actually, we can just clean up this debris. Not a big deal. And then the next thing I'm looking at, so I'm looking at this one right in here. She is crossing straight back into the center of the rose. I really want to get rid of it. It does have this little growth point coming out here, but I think it's safe to say that I'm going to create more chaos if I leave it. So we're going to take that out as well. The other thing that I'm kind of looking at here is this little wonkadoodle mess. I'm going to take this out. And this one, I'm actually going to bring it down maybe to about right here, because it has some really pretty growth points happening out here. All right, next up, this little guy. It's not looking the best, it's not looking the worst. I think I might actually take it out because I just don't think it's gonna do what I want it to do. Alrighty, so we are still left with kind of a sad looking rose, but from where we started, this is leaps and bounds better than what it was. I think the only other thing, I might take that little guy off. And I think this will do for now. Okay. Let's get on to the next one. Ouch. All right. This one's a little short, but I'm gonna see if going hard at this is gonna help rejuvenate some of this energy and get us back to a more normal shape. Oh, what am I gonna do with this one? This one is just a savage. Okay, here we go. I don't wanna do this. Okay, ooh, shit. Okay, I can't quite decide what I want to do here, so I'm just gonna have to start making some cuts. Okay, I've got a little savage here. But again, I need to regain a lot of shape. So we're gonna give this a ride and see how she does. I've created a lot of openness in the middle, and again, a beautiful vase shape. So much better than when we started. Okay, now that I have my roses in much better shape, I'm actually gonna dive in because this bed is a hot mess. Unfortunately, I just stepped on a sedum. So freaking mad. Forgot I planted it there. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just put on some music, and I'm gonna clean up this bed and get us ready for the growing season ahead. God, those crows are so obnoxious. There's another little sedum. All right, friends, I think this is gonna be all for today. I have to get in my car and grab kids from school, but I feel really good that I got at least a little bit done in my garden today. That was a goal of mine for this year, is to spend more time in my garden. Even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes, it feels so good that I've done a little something for myself, connecting back to the place that I love. In any event, I hope you have a wonderful day. Say hello to your garden for me.